Today I'm going to show you an easy 3-ingredient zucchini bread loaf. This is gonna be good and so easy. Okay, so I'm working with 3 ingredients. The first is a 15-ounce box of spice cake mix. Any brand works for this. I'm also going to use 1 small to medium zucchini. I actually have 2 to use today, so it's going in. I'm also going to use 1.5 cups of plain Greek yogurt. Now, in a large bowl, I am going to shred or grate the zucchini. Now, I'm using 2, so it is going to change the moisture and water content in this recipe. I suggest using 1, but my youngest does not eat vegetables, so whenever I can get extra vegetables in something he'll eat, I go for it. So I'm going with 2. But be forewarned, you'll want to use 1 because I'll show you why it changes the texture of the bread loaf. Okay, so that is shredded. So now I'm going to add my plain Greek yogurt. I am going to use 1.5 cups of plain Greek yogurt. If you're using 1 small zucchini in this recipe, then you might need to opt for 1 3/4 cup of Greek yogurt in this. But because the moisture and water content of 2 shredded zucchinis, it's going to change the texture of the bread. So I'm going to just dump the cake mix right on top, and that's it. 3 ingredients. And it totally works. And don't worry about the sweetness of this loaf. The cake mix is sweet enough to balance out the plain Greek yogurt. So now just combine and mix well. By the way, you could add some pecans or walnuts in this. That is also good. Okay, so here's what I'm working with. So now what I'm going to do is put this into a loaf pan. You can use the typical 9x4 inch loaf pan. This is an 8x4. It's just going to make it look a little bit taller. Okay, so I'm going to spread this on top to kind of smooth it out. And this is going to bake for 50 minutes in a preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Cook time does vary, so you'll want to check with a toothpick to make sure the center is cooked through. Okay, so to sub the Greek yogurt, if you don't have it or don't want to use it, you can use a 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree. That totally works, and it's really good. Okay, so it has been 15 minutes, so I'm going to remove this from the oven, and I'm going to check the center to make sure it's done. And if you do find that it still needs to bake, put it right back into the oven and let it go for another 5 to 10 minutes. My house or my kitchen smells amazing, so I'm just going to take the toothpick and poke in the center, and it will come out with a little bit of crumbs, but this is pretty much done. And I'm going to carefully remove it, and using the parchment paper in the loaf pan helps with this process, and you can see it is just, oh, it smells so good. Okay, so after it has cooled, actually it could have cooled longer, but my son is waiting for a slice. So I'm going to carefully peel back the rest of the parchment paper, and it's so tender and moist with that extra zucchini. And you'll see what I mean when I slice into it. The water content kind of collects at the bottom of the loaf, so it's really moist. It's not raw, it's cooked through. It's just with that extra zucchini, it just slightly changes the texture, but my son loves this, so that's why I added extra. Okay, so here's a slice, and we're ready to dig in. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.